Everybody, it's Jessie, and I'm coming at you with this month's video. It's Christmas Eve, and tomorrow is our full moon. So we have a lot going on right now that's just really amazing energy and really intense for some people. And, I was thinking and I was doing some pondering, and I was wondering to myself, what am I going to do this month for this video? And I was lucky to find these beautiful little pine trees here behind me. So I have great Christmas trees, great Yuletide trees here, and some beautiful energy. And what came to me was that oftentimes we refer to this time of year as a season of peace. And I wanted to delve more into that because I thought to myself, I wonder what the codes of peace are. And that became very interesting. So I opened up and I delved into it. And when I started looking at the codes, one of the things that I found that really struck me as interesting is that peace is not of this world. And I think that's interesting because so many people are searching for peace. So many people are trying to find peace in their lives. And certainly we can experience that feeling. But what's interesting about this is that peace is all about divine connection. And it's all about connecting with that divine presence and that energy. And if we reflect on a lot of the teachings through whatever belief system that you look at, even just spiritual practices and not actual belief systems, we come up with a very interesting concept that runs through pretty much all of them that I've seen, and that is be in this world but not of it. And I think that that's a great line for the codes of the energy of peace. Because when we talk about that divine presence, many times people get very disconnected. They get very ungrounded. Of course, they can get overwhelmed and over-emotionally stimulated from the holidays and all of those things as well. But what happens with peace is that we actually step out of this physical world to a certain extent. We're in it, but we're not of it. So when somebody is experiencing peace within them, that's what they're doing. They're making a divine connection. And I think that as souls, we really remember this divine connection, and this is one of the things why we crave it so much. We want just that little bit of peace and quiet, right? Just a little bit of peacefulness in our life. And so I also looked at the energy of peaceful. And I found that very interesting because when we are peaceful, what we're finding is that we're standing in our own power. We're standing in our own personal strength. Now, sometimes we're standing alone. Sometimes that means that we don't have a lot of other people around us, and that's okay. What happens is that peaceful energy is about being strong enough in ourselves that we are all powerful. So we have a connection with the divine, because that's within the root of peaceful, that allows us to be all powerful and not governed by material things or not swayed by material things. Now, of course, Christmas has become a very material time of year in many ways, right? We put a huge emphasis on presents and retail and shopping and, what am I going to get this person? What am I going to get that person? And really, if we get down to what the season is about, a season of peace and being peaceful, then we're standing in our own divine presence, the one presence, as we might say in there. So, as this holiday approaches, take some time to reflect and really think about, where do you feel peaceful? Is it a particular setting? Is it a particular place? Is it a particular thing that you do, be it stillness or quietness? And interestingly enough, when we talk about being alone in this vibration and this energy, so many people think that it's not okay to be alone. And yet, if we look at all of our spiritual leaders, including Christ, whose birth is at this time, then we're looking at a factor that even he went off to be on his own to make divine connection. So one really needs to be strong enough in themselves, and not just strong, but comfortable with yourself being alone. And because having to be around people. It's different wanting to, but having to be around people is no different than any other addiction out there. And this is a year that we're going to have to break our addictions. It's a year that's important, I should say. We don't have to, but it's important that we do break those addictions this year because they're going to get challenging. And I'm going to talk about that in tomorrow's show. But, think about it and do some reflecting and go, what does it take? The so-called happiness is not from this world. It's not going to be in the material things. It's going to be in the beauty of trees like this. It's going to be in the beauty of the flower that springs in springtime and that starts to come out and bloom. It's going to be in the beauty of the skies, whether it's snowing or sunny or rainy or whatever it's doing. And when I delved into this, another little piece came up for me, and that was remembering my dear friend Orli, who traveled with me for so long. She traveled with me for many months on the road as I was touring, and she was the sweet little kitty that won hearts everywhere we went, and who I rescued from going over a waterfall. And so as I reflect back on our time together, she was such an example. It did not matter what was happening in life. She was peaceful. She was at ease. I can only think of one point and one time when she was not. And that was actually about a year ago. Ironically, it was a little less than a year ago, or actually right around this time, about a year ago. And she was feeling very unsettled at that time. And we shifted the circumstances and she rebalanced again. But she taught me so much about being peaceful in it, and she taught me about every morning start off by connecting. Every morning start off by being excited about the day. Every evening settle down and settle into the joy of what happened and the experiences and the time and what was there in that day. And I think that's something for all of us to take away, that we can be peaceful no matter what's happening in this outer world, because our peacefulness is not attached to this world. It's not reliant on this world at all. And how do we achieve peacefulness? How do we become at peace in this world and to have that in this world? What we do is we simply stop and we connect. And if you need to be alone to do it, take the time to do that, especially during this holiday season. Take care, everybody. I look forward to seeing you in 2016. If you'd like to check out more of my work, be it on codes or coaching or anything else that's going on, please do so. My website is Jessie Ann Nichols George, the1.com. So again, that's www.jessieannnicholsgeorge, the1.com. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.